Good morning, boys and girls. This is Coastal, also known as Marventus, bringing you a newbie disaster video this morning. A game where I lost. This was an intense Zerg versus Zerg battle of adaptation and confrontation. A very, very fun game indeed. Here in the top right hand corner as the red Zerg, myself, Marventus, and in the bottom left hand corner we have our opponent of the day, Mr. Boone Kurz, who did an excellent job in this game. So let's get a production tab up and see how we're doing. Right, we have got drones being produced, we have got an overlord hanging out, and we have an overlord heading out here from Mr. Boone Kurz over here. Right, he's popping down his spawning pool incredibly early at, is that 5 supplies? It's a 6 pool. Right, looks like we're headed for some cheese here, boys and girls. He is attempting to 6 pool me. Let's see how this goes. Well, spawning pool going down incredibly early. I am doing my usual thing of, let's see, I believe I 12 pool under normal circumstances. Occasionally, against Zerg, I will 10 pool. Let's see what I did here. I can't actually remember. I got my second overlord coming out now at 9 supply as normal. Right, gonna be droning up, I believe, to 12 supply, which is what I generally do before I pool. Let's see if I follow suit. Actually getting a 9 pool here, so just being a little bit prepared for that 6 pool that occasionally does show up in these Bronze League games, and this is certainly not an exception. So here we are. I am getting up my pool at 9 supply, and I should be popping out a couple more drones now, and getting my gas. There it is. So still, economy-wise, I seem to have been preparing quite early on for the rush that I thought would be coming my way. Yes, my drone has arrived into the base and noticed the early pool, hence the reaction. So that drone now being taken down by 2 Zerglings that are already out, and now I'm thinking, how do I react to this? I have my spawning pool now about to be done, gas about to be done simultaneously as well, and my queen should be just right behind as soon as that 100 minerals hits. Popping out an overlord in order to avoid being supply blocked unnecessarily, because that's what I would normally do, but at this stage, because I've been droning so little, I am now massively oversupplied. So that overlord was actually a waste of minerals. I should have saved it up for the queen instead. I'm just now realizing. Another 6, or the first 6 Zerglings, or no, it's another 6 Zerglings, because the first 2 are now headed to my base. Let's see how I defend against this. All I've got is a bunch of drones, and I've defended against the early pool like this before. I am now popping out my queen. Here comes a couple of Zerglings. I box up my drones and get rid of them. Getting a nice surround. Down they go. They're dead. Back we go to the mining. But here we have 6 Zerglings heading our way. Will that queen pop out in time? I think it just might. And in the meantime, economy not looking that solid. His economy looking, well, pretty much equally unsolid actually, since he pooled so early. Here comes my queen just in time to do some defense. And I'm spitting some lava and moving her to the back of the base, I believe. Oh no, she's staying in the front. No, there she goes, back of the base. Getting in amongst the drones, and the drones are popping in to help out with the damage doing, and we managed to pool tonight to stave off this 6 pool as well. And those Zerglings are off for a bit of a run. Back to my mining I go. So I managed to stave off the initial foray of attacking, and I am now reasonably safe. Lava is just about to pop over there. He is getting his first gas up now that his initial 6 pool rush has failed, and he's going to attempt to take up. He's done a reasonable job of droning away in the meantime, and you can see right now I am well behind on economy, and this is what eventually screwed me. I was simply not able to keep up on the economy. Spine crawler going down because I'm sure that I'm going to be hit by a few more Zerglings along the way. And if you guys are wondering what I'm munching on, I've got some seriously excellent hot dogs and green tea by my side. The breakfast of champions, boys and girls. Let's see how we're doing. Spine crawler going up for both of us. He's come up with pretty much exactly the same idea. Putting up some defense in case I do an early rush or a retribution rush. In the meantime, drones coming out for him, Zerglings coming out for me. Now, the key thing that Boone Kurz did here that I did not do well was the economy. He is doing well on his economy, and I'm still behind by a few drones because I'm popping out Zerglings to defend. At this point, I've actually got enough. to mount an early defense. I'm going to start focusing on droning up from now on. You can see additional drones coming out. Metabolic boost on the way for bunkers. And mine should not be that far behind. And there's my hatchery taking up to a lair because I thought I would respond to this by going muter and going to get some harassment out there. And he is now working hard at his droning. A bunch of zerglings now coming out to the front. His metabolic boost is underway and he's got one spine crawler at the start of the base, front of the base, guarding his situation. An additional 6 zerglings on the way, so he is rebuilding his zergling army. I am foraying outwards to take a look at what's going on, to see if he has gotten himself an expansion, which he for the time being has not done so. So he has even more zerglings on the way here. Now starting to develop a bit of a posse of zerglings. Almost a command group's worth. Yes, a command group's worth of zerglings now. And I've got one guy sitting at the front of his base waiting to see what's going on. And I do spy this bunch of zerglings coming in. He gets taken down a bit and I can see now that the zerglings are there. In the meantime, I'm still trying to work on my droning. His metabolic boost is just about to finish up. I still haven't gotten mine. And all I have is my queen, my spine crawler, and a couple of rows of zerglings. Spire now going up. Now the question is, can I defend against this inevitable rush that's going to come my way? I think we're about to find out. Speedlings now up and running for Boonkers. He's heading in. Let's see how this defense goes. I have got 2 rows of zerglings. I've got 1 spine crawler. I'm getting my second gas to prepare for the inevitable necessity for gas. And notice I'm not actually mining from this gas, which was a mistake now, and I'm just getting one guy onto it now. Here comes a mass of zerglings. How do we manage? Let's take a look at our drone situation. One going down there, a second one going down there, and a third down as well. And then there's a rush out. And now they're trying to take down my spawning pool. But they're largely starting to get a little bit stuck here. Now my zerglings are now starting to get decimated. A few more coming in to join the fray. The queen doing an amazing job all this time and managing to stay alive by being motored around the place. And somehow I managed to stave that off. With 1 spine crawler, a bunch of drones, a queen, and a bunch of zerglings. So there we go. Still survived. Still survived. Now the question is, do I have enough of an economy to get these muters going? Now you see, I have been falling behind on the economy. My gas count nowhere near good enough. Spire is out and I actually can't pop out any mutalisks. And I'm just realizing this now. So this is really where I failed in this game, the macro. Had I kept up the macro solidly, I would have won this game at the end of the day. Right, now he's plopped down a roach warren, so he's transitioning to roaches because his zergling attacks did not work. And I'm now starting to mine gas properly at last. So my first 100 gas is done. I should have a mutalisk on the way any moment now. And Boonkers is spreading creep and getting his first expansion. This is where his economy totally starts to run away from mine. He's getting 12 zerglings. I'm getting an additional queen as defense and popping out a couple of mutalisks, which is all I can afford right now. And I'm going to try and take them and do some harassment. Intense game, as you can see right now, boys and girls. Very, very back and forth. So far, good adaptation from both sides. We have yet another zergling army running at us, spied by my zergling who was camping out. This doesn't look good for my expansion, but he's actually running right past the expansion and coming to hang out in the south side of my base. Now so far, I don't have a whole lot of anything to counter this. And in the meantime, my 2 mutas are running down to his base. And here come his zerglings. Now I haven't microed my defense as well as I should have in this situation, because I did not manage to save as many drones as I would have liked. My queen does go down, which is a big loss. The second queen is possibly also down at this point. And now my zerglings are out of the way. I've got 1 muter trying to keep things under control. A bunch of zerglings popping once again. Somehow I've managed to survive this, but I lost my spine crawler. The second spine crawler is now popping out just in time to help out, but in general, look at my drone count. I've lost almost an entire row of drones. So that was less than great. That was less than great. Now my economy is seriously hurting. I don't have the money to pump out loads of mutas. And I need to drone up again. So I've got another 2 additional mutas where I just have enough money to do popping out. And my hatchery has just concluded itself, which again I was not able to make a whole bunch of use of because I didn't have a queen to larva up. And my queen here is dead as well. So now all I have in the game right now is 3 mutas, basically. So I'm going to start out by seeing if I can do some overlord harassment and limit his ability to produce new units. In the meantime, he has moted up a few roaches, put down his hatchery, got another queen, and is actually in pretty decent shape. His economy not great either, but because he harmed mine so much, I am at this point well and truly behind. Here come my mutas, taking a few pot shots at the roaches, and then working on the overlords. Now the queen gets involved, and queens are a great defense against mutalisks. So I'm going to try and take that one down, but he's popping down an additional queen as well. And there goes one of my mutas, and now I only have 2 left. Gonna try and work on some overlord harassment, but a second queen coming in from behind to do some damage, and I have to focus her down as well, and once again I wind up losing a mutalisk. One more muta coming in to reinforce. Right, but I have only got enough money to pop out one more muta here that's on the way. Drone count doing abysmally. Queen finally popped out here. Still no queen over here, so that base now turning out to be a complete waste of money, which I shouldn't have spent 300 minerals on at this time without droning up here first, but there you go. A bit of a bad panicky decision there that's costing me. So that muta is now going to die as well, chased away by the additional queen that popped out. Now I'm starting to get well and truly behind. Some roaches now starting to pop out for boon curs, and all I have are 2 mutas and a zergling in the middle of the map, with another one on the way. So now I can no longer keep up on the macro game. It is a question of time before I lose here. But so far it actually has been a bit of a nail-biter of a game back and forth, and I was not able to scout too well either, so I didn't know exactly what he was doing because my mutas had to go back and forth all the time. That zergling went down in a rush, and these roaches being harassed a little bit by the mutas. But on the whole, I'm not really doing a lot of damage. Come to think of it, I should probably have focused down these roaches, and the queens as well. I did manage to get quite a bunch of overlords down, which did hamper his production quite a bit, but nonetheless not significantly to be enough of a problem. Nice mobility here by the mutas. One of the great things about having mutas around. Didn't manage to get that overlord down, unfortunately. A drone might go down here. Yes, a drone does go down, but again, the queens are just wrecking havoc with my mutas. He's popping out enough to stay on top of things, and currently no production on either side. So let's see how my drone count is going. See, I've managed to only motor up a little bit more drones, and he's got enough roaches now to be a very, very significant problem for me. As you can imagine, this hatchery is still doing absolutely nothing other than popping out the odd lava or 2. And now I'm starting to sense that trouble is a-brewing. I've got my drones up to 2 rows, but it is a question of too little too late. I've got a couple of mutas doing some harassment on the side here, being chased away by the queens. And the roach count for boon curs is now approaching an entire row, or even more actually. 1.5 rows. Now there's very, very little I have to counter this with. In fact, I've got nothing. Right, because my economy has not been solid enough to be pummeling out mutas in any large amount. I've got a few more mutas heading out in the field, and in general, this is not in good shape. So I decided to stop running to the base and do something about defending here, trying to take down as many roaches as possible. But ultimately, it did wind up being too little too late. I took 2 roaches out here before they got to my base, but there simply wasn't enough damage going around to do anything about this. So here the queen comes out and plops some lava out again, but with this many roaches up against me, there's not a lot to do. The queen goes down in a really big hurry. The spine crawler doing what it can, but in general, these roaches are decimating my base. I do manage to kill them off, but once again, look at the damage to my mineral line. I've only got 1 row of drones left. It's looking shabby. My economy is completely toast, and all I have is a few mutas. In the meantime, what has Boon Curse responded with? He's getting a spore crawler, and he's getting a spore crawler there as well, and the queens are out in force, and there simply is no way for my mutas to do any kind of reasonable damage, because spore crawlers and queens are all you need to defend against muta attacks. So at this point I really need to transition, but I don't have the economy to do it. So there I am, completely screwed. A very, very good lesson here about how to keep that economy in shape, because it is absolutely important, right, in all of these situations to have a great economy. And Boonker is doing a real top-notch job. While he's busily attacking away, he has kept up with his economy. His main base looking a little weirded out here, but his secondary base is now on almost 1.5 rows. Has done an excellent job of attacking and macroing at the same time. Now I do manage to do some economic damage here, taking out a few of his drones. But he has got even more spore crawlers coming out. He has got another queen on the way, and there is just not enough. There's just not enough mutas to do enough damage here. Queens absolutely lethal against the muta attacks. All you need to do to deal with mutas is pop out 3 or 4 queens and you're good to go. Right, 1 spore crawler at each base with some queens here and there, and you're completely fine. Right, so I'm not really able to do a lot here. Those spore crawlers wrecking havoc. My mutas going down by the bucket load. Got a couple more coming in to reinforce, but generally it's a question of too little too late. My economy still not rebuilt, not even at 1 row yet, because I've been spending my money on mutas, which I really should have stopped doing, because there's no effective way to counter this with just mutas now, since he's got the base defenses he needs. That muta also going down a real big hurry, no way for him to win that, so total waste of effort there. Not good counterplay on my part at all. I should have stopped the muta countering and just focused on the macro. Let's see now. Yeah, my base still hasn't started doing anything there either. I've got a bunch of Zerglings out to see what I can do with it, but essentially it's not a lot, because now I'm up against 2 functional bases. I only have 1 functional base, and the second one is not even lavaed up, and my economy is doing pretty badly. He's getting his upgrades, and now I finally get my metabolic boost out, because I realize that mutalisks are not going to do what they need to do, and I will have to go Zergling heavy if I'm going to survive at all. In the meantime, Boonker is getting a few upgrades of his own, including some overload speed. 3 more roaches on the way, 10 more Zerglings. His army from this point onwards is always going to be bigger and better than mine. Therefore it's a question of time. At this point I am trying to figure out what I can do to harm his economy, because that's really what's gone wrong here. His economy is simply too far ahead of mine. And whatever goes on here, I simply need to find a way to harm the economy. And right now, I'm not seeing a good way to do it. The only way I can think of is to mass Zerglings and run them into his economy line and try to do as much havoc as I can. But in the meantime, he's got a bit of an army amassed. So there really isn't a whole lot I can do about this. Managing to get my economy up slowly, while producing some lings as well. Metabolic boost about to be done, so I'm heading south. Taking the scenic route because I assumed he had that that tower. Here we go, inside into the mineral line. Whole bunch of Zerglings popped out that very second, which was bad news for me. I did manage to do some havoc to his mineral line, but because he had so many units coming back to defend, there wasn't really anything I could do about this. I did try to do a bit of a run by here and head into his main base. Here I go. But again, Spine Crawler and Queen. Still, I'm not doing that badly. I mean, that Queen might go down potentially. No, it did not. Take a look at this. The mineral line minorly harmed. Mineral line here has been evacuated, but on the whole, I just don't have enough units to make it happen. And now he's got tons of units heading into my base, and I've got nowhere near enough defense. So this is the final push as it comes in. It will be too tough for me to overcome at this time. I just don't have the economy to macro up enough of an army. I do have a couple of 100 minerals sitting in there, and I do have more Zerglings being produced, but it simply isn't enough to counter this massive amount of speedlings upgraded with +1 attack, and also the roaches as defense. That hatchery, obviously no chance of saving that one. I've got a Spine Crawler going up a little bit late, another one there going up a little bit late. Neither will be done in time. Here comes the attack, and at this point I've got no choice but to GG the hell out of here, because I am clearly toast. So there we are, boys and girls. Moral of the day: when making sure you're doing your countering and unit macroing, do not forget to macro up the economy. That is what Boonkurse did right in this game, and I did wrong, and therefore he wins because he can always macro up a larger army than I can with a solid economy at its base. And that is the mistake that we have to learn from today. That's it, folks. Thank you for watching, and keep an eye out for more videos coming out in the next few days where I will be posting even more disaster videos of me losing horrendously. Have a wonderful, wonderful New Year's Eve. Bye bye.